Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Got some footage today here from my friend Pat Trainor. If you remember last year, he had a couple hunts that he filmed on his Tacticam, and I put them together on here. If you haven't, go check that out. He had 2 bucks he killed within like 4 days, I believe it was. So this year he doubled up again, got 2 great bucks. The second one, I was actually with him, brought him into one of my spots, and he put this deer down within an hour. So it was a pretty cool experience. We were both there. We got to track it. It was an incredible tracking job. Both these hunts we talked about a couple weeks ago on the Hunt Suburbia podcast. If you're not familiar with that, Pat Guyette runs a great podcast every week with a lot of local hunters. And some really good stories and just really interesting stuff. So if you have not checked that out, you absolutely go check out Hunt Suburbia. But we talked about both of these hunts on there. They were both really nice deer. His second deer was 23.5 inch wide, or 23 inch wide, I think, 8-pointer. So he had some Tacticam footage, gave it to me. I tried to put it together here with some pictures, and hopefully you enjoy it. This first hunt was where he shot his first buck last year that we tracked together, and right down the road from me, actually. And so him and I had gone in early in the season and found a big community scrape, and he put a trail camera on that, and he got some great footage of some deer fighting right in front of the camera, as well as this big 10-pointer that he had pictures of, and I believe some video of as well on this scrape. And so sure enough, as you see in the footage, his first sit in this spot, just like last year, he went in with his saddle, only this was in the morning. He went in and there was a hot doe in there, and his buck would not leave her. He kind of got picked off a little bit by some of the deer around him. They were getting spooky, as you see in the video, but you'll see that the buck just did not want to leave the doe. He comes in, and Pat squeezes the shot in. The deer goes about 30 yards, I think, not even, and drops. So check out this footage. So as great a deer that was, Pat was able to score on another big one. I brought him into a spot with me down in Rhode Island, and I had been in there a few times. I'd seen one big buck, and I had some really nice bucks on camera. It was my first year hunting the spot. Really wasn't familiar with what I should be doing in this area. I kind of figured a few things out scouting the previous postseason, but still learning the spot. There was one spot I really wanted to go to in with my saddle, and it wasn't where my stand was, and I hadn't had a chance to hunt it. So when we went, before we even got there, I'd already set in mind that I was going to kind of send him in that direction. We were going to go somewhere else that day, I believe, and I said, let's just go down to a Rhode Island spot. I know there's a bunch of bucks in there. Come on down. We get there. Not a long walk for him. I kind of put him in the direction. He went in, he found a tree. And I went up. I was probably only set up a couple 100 yards from him. And within an hour or so, he's calling me. And he had just said you just shot a big one. So you see in this footage, he had, I believe, a couple does. I think there was a spike in there. And this buck comes in. And if you listen to the noise that this buck makes, and I honestly, the first couple times I watched this video, I did not even realize that it was the buck. I thought a doe was blowing at him. But listen to the noise that this buck is making. It sounds like he's blowing, pretty much, as he comes running in. And you'll see he comes right in at like maybe 8 yards, if that, and stops right before the creek and looks up at Pat. Because Pat must have drawn and he saw them. And Pat makes a great shot. So check this footage out. Dude, what a friggin' you had what an epic track that was.
Dude.
I looked up and all I saw was that big friggin' rack sticking up.
Jesus, man.
Holy crap. And he died right next to the trail.
Broke off his brow, but I mean, he's wide.
I don't know, I can't tell yet. Put your light down.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. I can't tell if that's he's a friggin' beauty. That could be, I don't know if that's him or not, but I'll have to look at the pictures. I think that's him. Dude, what a giant.
I had to call my buddy.
Holy shit. What a friggin' beauty. So that was a great deer, just huge. We were ecstatic. You know, there was a lot of lessons to learn on that tracking job. We talked about a little bit on the podcast. It went pretty far as the crow flies. It was like 260 yards, and he made a double lung shot. I can't remember if he clipped the heart or not, to be honest with you, on that deer, but he definitely had a double lung. When we first saw the sign, you know, where the deer had run across the creek, it was really frothy blood, so it just seemed like this deer was definitely dead. And so we followed that deer, and honestly, we probably would have backed out sooner if we both were not able to go the next day and look for this deer. Neither one of us were able to go look for this deer the next day, so we had to stay on it. It was the trail really petered out. We lost it a lot of times. We stayed on it, and you know, it really was an awesome tracking job. We both learned some lessons on that one, as you usually do on those. And we found him right next to the trail. It was perfect. Got him out of there. It was a great deer. I was super happy. Really, it was probably even better than me shooting that deer. Pat's a great guy. He's a good hunter. You know, he definitely really appreciated that deer. You know, he could tell he was super excited and definitely relieved when we found that deer. So I hope you enjoyed the footage. Don't forget, go and subscribe, leave a comment, leave a like, ring that bell. I'm going to try and keep putting videos out. I've been trying to put more out over the last few weeks, so keep your eyes open.